Oh boy. Ooh.
Play the music.
I'll just do this for now.
That's how the pros do it. It's gonna be the best intro to the whole video right there.
Crying. I'm very excited for this. Is the blind reaction you reacting to how long it takes for me to lose my mind because nothing's happening? I'm all hooked up on Mountain Dew.
Fix it in post.
I have no idea. I know Gun Fu.
Did you expect this podcast to stay on topic?
No,
Or were you wrong?
For anybody who happens to watch or listen to this it's going to happen all the time.
All right. Score.
Is it recording?
It is recording.
Oh my.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. How much time do we have?
How's the audio on your side though? Is it okay?
Yeah, it sounds okay. Is mine okay?
Yours is good. Any background noise for me?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I hear a voice asking to come play with it, but I mean, that could be anything. So, I guess we never really discussed how we were gonna like intro everything, huh?
So this is the intro. We're here now. We're talking.
Yeah, we're something.
Yeah. So I guess we should say what this is. This is a Ready Viewer 1, a movie podcast with Nick Johnson and John Boys.
That's me.
And fitting that our first episode would be Ready Player One.
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to rewatch it today because I got busy, but I did watch like trailers and stuff like that to get reacquainted since it's been almost 3 years since it came out. So
yeah, I don't think I've watched it since it was in the theater until a couple days ago. No, seriously.
Well, at least you got a refresher a couple days ago.
I did, and I don't think I liked it as much the second time around. It's still a good movie, but I think that's also because I like the book so much. So I don't know. I think the first time it was just
we'll definitely get into that because there's definitely a lot of interesting stuff between the book and the movie.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot.
So you saw it in theaters, and I waited till it came out on digital to watch it on Vudu.
Yeah.
It's streaming right now on HBO Max according to IMDb. So
that's where I watched it. I watched it right.
Okay.
Even though I have the Blu-ray Steelbook, it was too much for me to get it out of the case.
Yeah. Who takes Blu-rays out of cases to insert them into players anymore? It's asking too much. You just talk in your remote and say,
"My iPad
Ready Player One."
Drive.
Yeah. So it came out in 2018. It's a action adventure sci-fi movie, almost 2.5 hours long.
Nostalgic pop.
Yeah. The whole movie is just pop culture references throughout the whole thing. I think there's probably like 10% of the script is actual unique words and not just quoting other movies and songs and stuff like that. It's
something like that.
Yeah. When you look up that there's over 300 Easter eggs in it, and you're like, oh, okay, so what part of this is original? What part's something that's actually written?
Those are the Easter eggs people could see.
Yeah, and that's if they paused the trailer or parts of the movie.
Spent like a day's worth of pausing and slow motion and zooming in to see every frame and bit and stuff.
Yeah, if you look up one of the videos on YouTube like I did, it's here's 30 minutes of us talking about 300 things on 10 different stills of the movie. So 2.5 hour long movie, and they're spending 5 minutes talking about one frame of the movie. So it's posters on the walls and patches on their shirts and all sorts
of stickers and things like that on headsets and VR gear and all that.
The thing he hangs the headset's the Atari controller, and right to the left of that is this and that. And it's all.
Yep.
Yeah, they went deep into adding every pop culture reference they could.
Yeah. And who knows what's on the cutting room floor? Like, who knows like what didn't make the movie?
Is it going to be like the Justice League where it goes from 2.5 hours to 4 hours? And
who knows?
With this, it's probably even more.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I didn't watch any of the special features. But most of the pop culture references they have are like in the beginning and end of the movie. You got the giant car race scene in the front in the beginning, which wasn't in the book, and then the giant battle at the end, which was in the book ish.
Yeah, I found it interesting how much they did. So I think we can assume that everybody knows this is going to be full of spoilers, being a movie podcast. So everything's going to be a deep dive into stuff, and
probably put like a spoiler thing up on the screen here.
I feel like if you're going out of your way to find a podcast about movies, you're kind of expecting it's going to be spoilers,
and hopefully you're listening or watching one that you've actually seen the movie for, or like the genre or topic.
Yeah. Or you're like me, where somebody can tell you the plot of the movie up front, and you'll still go watch it and enjoy it because that doesn't bother you a bit.
That's also, yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it, then come back, and then join us for this wild ride we're about to go on.
Wild ride. In a DeLorean.
Yeah, and with all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, a DeLorean with the voice of Kit.
Yep. I was just gonna say that was one of the things that they mentioned was the Knight Rider radar on the front of the.
Yeah, I don't think I never noticed that until I watched that video. Same thing. I thought that was cool.
And there's an appearance from the Pontiac from Smokey and the Bandit, the Firebird Pontiac.
There's a lot. The original Adam West Batmobile, Speed Racer,
monster trucks. Speed Racer, I forgot about that. I was excited when I saw that. I loved Speed Racer.
The 2015 Mad Max, whatever that car. I don't even know what kind of car that is.
Yeah.
That's in there. The Tron bikes are in there.
Oh, I saw the
A-Team van.
Christine from the Stephen King book was in it.
Christine's in it. H has the Ferris Bueller car in the garage.
Yep.
The pre flying out the window.
Well, at the beginning of the race. At the end of the race, it's probably a little.
Oh, maybe. What else? Can't even remember all the cars. There's so many.
Yeah, there's
so many cars. Of course,
that's something we could bring up and pause and sit here and name every car for like 10 minutes because it's
Artemis drives the Akira bike. Yeah, lots of things. That's not even in the backgrounds of the rest of the movie. That's just in the like opening scene.
The opening 30 seconds, yeah.
They should have the Jurassic Park Jeep in there somewhere since they have the T-Rex showing up.
See, there's debate on whether that's a reference to Jurassic Park or not. Apparently, Spielberg was saying it's just a dinosaur. It has nothing to do with Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but come on. Like, somebody find the frame of that from the movie and look for the scratches from the Velociraptor on its face. Like, it's got to be the same. It'd be so much cheaper just to reuse it anyway.
Yeah.
I would assume. I don't know. Yeah, he did say that he didn't want anything to do with his references in the movie, which is weird because they're full all over the book.
Yeah.
Like, they use his name in the book.
The animators actually added some in without him knowing and surprised him.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was one of the things where, he made a big deal about not, putting his stuff up front and stealing anything away from the rest of the movie. And then one of the editors threw something in there without telling him until it was in theaters when he saw it.
Oh, God.
So.
And that editor never worked again. You'll find him at the Chick-fil-A somewhere.
Working next to the guy on the original Halo that doubled the pistol damage the day before it went to release, and nobody knew.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Right next to the guy in Jurassic Park that quits and hacks everything to sell. Newman from Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, but he dead.
He got
spitted on. Yeah. Whatever those things are called. The spitter. We'll call it a spitter.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so Ready Player One. It's creator of a virtual reality called The Oasis Dies. Makes a posthumous challenge to all Oasis users to find the Easter egg, which will give their finder his fortune and control of his world. And that's from IMDb as the synopsis. So
pretty much
here's one of the things that came up a lot was he created these challenges, and in the movie they make the reference that 5 years have passed and nobody's beating the car race because of King Kong,
Right.
and then they make the point that he's going through the archives and here's what if you just went in reverse or whatever, so he decides to go in reverse. After 5 years, nobody tried to do that. It just slipped their mind. Yeah, gamers who are infamous for finding any way to break a game or find every hidden part to a game. And
yeah, I find it a little hard to believe that after all that time, nobody thought to not follow the course 5 years. Well, maybe it wasn't 5 years of them finding that clue for the first race, but I think they just stuck with what the book was going for. In the book, it took 5 years before anybody found the first key, which was
so
Parseval.
that part was true to the book, but the key
5 years
itself wasn't a race. It was a different type of.
Oh no! So in the book, the first key. So one little Easter egg when he first puts on his goggles and he's flying, but zooming into the race or whatever. They actually see on the map. You'll see Ludus. It's like a little off to the side. Ludus is where everybody goes to school in the Oasis. It's free. Like you register, you get like the Oasis gear that you need to log in, and in the first key is actually on the Ludus planet. All right. So the first key is on Ludus, and it's a Dungeons and Dragons scenario from when Halliday used to play with his friends back when they were in high school. And just talked about through the book how he put it on the planet because he wanted somebody at that level, like high school level, to find the first key. And it works out for Parseval because he doesn't have money to travel all over the Oasis and stuff. So he finds it there. It's a Dungeons and Dragons type scenario where he has to go through a dungeon, pass all these traps, and then play a game of joust with the Lich King. I think it's Lich King. I forget the exact name. But he has to play a game of joust, the old coin-operated arcade game. You ever play that where you fly on a bird and you have to like run into each other and joust each other, basically?
No, I don't remember that.
So it's a great game. I played it on Atari like years ago. But and he had to, he beat him for the key, and then he had to go to this other planet where it was like 200 some recreations of Halliday's hometown in Ohio. And he had to go to his bedroom, and then he had to reenact scene for scene, word for word, War Game with Matthew Broderick in order to finally pass that first gate. So they get the key, and it takes you to a gate. You have to pass the gate to get to the next round, I guess. So completely different.
Yeah.
And in the movie, I think they said some Gunter, egg hunter, found it like a few years ago accidentally. I think they say in the movie, if I'm not mistaken. But in the book, Artemis finds it a few weeks before Parseval, but she couldn't beat the joust game. So Artemis finds it first, but Parseval is the first to beat it.
Right.
Yeah. So just a little different.
One of the Easter eggs is, when they're in the bedroom at the end, is the actual same model computer from War Games is sitting there in the bedroom, and also the poster for Joust is on the wall in the bedroom.
Is there a poster for War Games in the movie at the end?
Not a poster, the actual computer with the red and black switches that you toggle and everything. The one he uses to hack the hack the mainframe.
Yeah, in the book, the War Games poster like opens up like a door where he steps into the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he said, yeah, it's like this whole like a virtual recreation of the movie War Games. Like, sounds pretty cool.
It's a good thing he's got a good memory. I would not be able to pass that test.
Yes, well,
word for word.
He said he watched it 36 times because he's such a Halliday fan. So it's.
Yeah, they make a reference to Halliday's favorite movies by genre, and The Shining being number 11 on his list, like
number 11th favorite horror movie.
Right, by genre. Yes. So how much of a fan do you have to be to not to keep going past the top 10 by genre?
Yeah. Like that's quite a bit. I mean, did he rank them all? I don't know, but that was a cool addition to the movie. I thought the Shining scene, because that wasn't in the book either.
There was so much to that, down to like matching the angles of which the typewriter scenes were filmed, and everything. The angles of looking down the stairs as they're about to climb them, and
there's
the infamous twins in the hallway, the
that was
the blood rushing out of the elevator being like scene for scene matched with the movie itself. It was
they had to have just crazy taken scenes detail from The Shining for that. Like, there's no way that was like completely digital. The main hall of The Shining where the typewriter is. There's no way. Like, they had to have just it was very, very accurate. I don't know. I would assume.
One thing I was just gonna say, well, technology could do anything, but so the book was written in it was released in 2011, and in 2010 is when they actually bought the rights to the movie before the book even came out. And then it took 8 years just to start filming the movie or to make the movie, which is crazy. And I was looking it up, and it was the writer of the book, who is
Ernest Cline.
Ernest Cline. I had to check the notes. He did the first draft, and he was trying to make it as true to the book as possible. And then the producer said, "We can't do that because it's too crazy. We can't do all the things that are in the book, and everything was too, too in depth, too crazy to try and film or to get the budget to CGI it." And then so he had one of the producers gave it to someone else to write, Zach Penn, to rewrite it and simplify it all the way down. And so they started writing the screenplay in 2010. It was 2014 when they hired Zach Penn to rewrite it. And then in 2015 when Spielberg came on.
Right.
And Spielberg's like, this is too simple. We need to add more from the book back in it because it's got to be more like the book. And then they're like, well, we can't do that. It's too crazy and too expensive. He's like, we can do it. They're like, what? He's like, no, we could do it.
Yeah.
Because when you get Spielberg on, you're getting all the clout and people are just going to throw money at it. And that's exactly what happened. He started saying, let's add this back. Let's add that back. And
I'm pretty sure they did a pretty good profit and everything too. I think it did well in the theater. As far as like how much money it made based off how much money they used. So I mean, I guess it worked.
So as the writer of the book, as Ernie, Spielberg coming in with the book with all these dog-eared pages saying, no, I want to make sure we do this scene. I want to make sure we do this scene, and have all these dog-eared pages in the book. That's got to be like crazy for the writer to have that happen, especially if he's a big fan of Spielberg, which
I mean, I imagine he is.
Most people are.
Most people are. I mean, like, what's not to love about Spielberg?
To have somebody that big, like, admiring your work that much that they're dog-earing pages that they're looking forward to filming when they take on the project, like.
Yeah. And I heard that too, that he came in and was like, no, more, bigger. Like, we have to do that. But like, when I rewatched the movie, and I'm currently rereading the book, like, what stuff did he want to put back in? So much that's not in the book. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess a lot of it had to do with the IP they had to obtain. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, the Warner Brother properties they can easily get, but like Disney stuff and superhero stuff and DC Comics and all the crazy stuff they had, like, it's a long list of characters from all these different franchises that.
And I would imagine that they redid, because it's Warner Brothers, so they have a lot of characters, and I'm assuming they were just like, no, stick to the people we got.
Yeah, so they had like Ninja Turtles and Batman and
Battletoads.
Iron Giant, I think was one of theirs, and then everything else, like they got Halo from Microsoft, and they've got all these Lara Croft video game characters, Overwatch video game characters, Street Fighter, they've got this deep IP from all these different studios that
one little
without
Batman
Spielberg,
scene.
How much of them would they actually have had?
Yeah, and I think they had like the Harley Quinn Joker from like the newer movies too. So I think that was Warner Brothers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so
Jason, Freddy, Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky jumping on the
Chucky
guy's
was
face.
funny. That was great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it's Warner Brothers. It is what it is. I mean, they left out a lot of references they couldn't. Like Star Wars wasn't mentioned at all in the movie.
Yeah,
Apparently, you could see like a TIE fighter in the background or something. I think.
they did do Spaceballs though, and they had the
Oh yeah, they had the Eagle 5.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
never
That's
would have
another one.
remembered the name Equal Five, and that's why you're here, and that's why I'm just reading notes.
One Journey wasn't in the movie, but it's referenced. Actually, I think the last challenge in the book is all about. It has something to do with a Journey song, and like not even mentioned in the movie.
Oh, when he does the say anything, holding up the
Oh
boombox
yeah,
instead of doing
Twisted
the
Sister.
instead of the love song, it's doing the twisted. We're not gonna take it
Yeah,
as they're
which is
rebelling, which is
it's a fitting song for the
yeah.
scene.
There's a lot of good music in it. I wish I made a list of the soundtrack because it was good songs.
I mean, the first song is Jump. I mean, that's a good song, classic '80s song. So, what?
I don't know how I feel about movies being like on the nose when they're doing music.
Like, because he's
Like
jumping off all the things.
right, if the song's jumping, he's jumping around, and then it's
Yeah, it's a good song then.
I forget which one he's doing when he's walking into the library, but it's like pretty much saying what he's doing in the movie. I'm like, I don't want to say I hate, but I don't think I like when they're like
It's too on the
narrating what people
nose.
are doing. Yeah,
No, I get
it
it.
was still good music in the movie.
Oh yeah.
A good soundtrack that is definitely a big part of a movie for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's so many movies where the soundtrack just made the movie better. Guardians of the Galaxy is one that I think of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so good.
like Volume One, Volume One, Volume Two had an okay soundtrack, but Volume One soundtrack was just amazing.
When you're trying to keep up with the first and it's that good, it's
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like in hindsight, they got to start handicapping themselves in the first movie if they know more are coming. Like, "Hey, how about we put some of these songs in the second one? Like, pace ourselves. But yeah, I think just about everything for this movie was good. From the CGI was what it was, and when you're in a VR world and you're making everything cartoony with like Halo characters and people from video games, it's easy to not have to worry about it being super realistic when it's supposed to look super. I don't want to say fake, but super imposed. Like a video game would.
Yeah. It won a few awards for their virtual cinematography and their it said outstanding created environment in a feature. Not like an Academy Award or anything, obviously, but it was nominated for best visual effects for the Academy Awards. So, I mean, they did a good job. It definitely holds up. I think as far as special effects and everything, they made it's a lot of special effects.
Yeah, I wish I looked up to see how many hours. Like how with Disney and Pixar movies, they always give you like this scene of the girl from Brave's hair blowing in the wind took a year to animate, like things like that.
Well, yeah, that they did a good job on that. Yeah, I have no idea. I knew they were working on it for a while.
Yeah, like how much is you're in the booth reading lines? How much of it is you in live action, and how much of it is VFX after the fact, all the post production? Like.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think a lot of this was after the fact.
Yeah. How many lines were changed after the fact? Like, you know what? I think it would be better if we redo this. One thing that's nice about animation is it's easy enough to dub over when you just have a mouth going this anyway.
Just fix it in post.
Yeah, one of the things I saw in a lot of these videos I was reviewing was them talking about points of the movie that lost it for them, and one of them was like how they're using a disguise in the beginning so nobody knows who they are, and then after that they're just like, hey, you know what? We don't need now that we're famous, we don't need disguises. People will never know it's us. Like,
yeah, I think they just wanted to do that the chest burst scene just for a gag, and then they did like, yep, do Superman.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Superman glasses, just
which again, just like Superman and Clark Kent, how does nobody know it's him?
Yeah. One thing I found interesting was that the bad guy, had a thing for like Superman character, and then the good guy had like he has a Lex Luthor quote in the beginning, and
Oh yeah.
it's funny how like the bad guy is idolizing the good guy, and the good guy's idolizing the bad guy, or not idolizing, but like
Right.
sympathizing with. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and he kind of had that Superman curl going on his hair as his
Yeah.
avatar.
What
I
would your
heard that.
avatar be if you were creating one for the Oasis?
What would my avatar be? Like if I had to pick like a well-known character,
I mean, you could pick a non-well-known character. You got people
or like
being
the
characters from
point is,
Overwatch. I couldn't tell you what their names are. I mean,
no. So you mean like a character from something else, like an avatar from something else?
yeah,
Like
like
not just me
when
like
you're
picking like the free skin stuff and like putting it on. Geez,
yeah, maybe that's why each person looked like themselves in real life and not too different. You know?
maybe the Rock, so I could finally do the eyebrow.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that would be a part of it if I had that.
Oh yeah, it would have to be an emote, right?
I can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I don't have that dexterity.
Nope, both are attached.
Not like Jack
What,
Black, where I could do the wave with them.
can you really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who would you pick?
I don't know. You know, being obsessed with Batman, it's easy to be like, oh, Batman, but it's just a dude in a suit. Like
Yeah,
anybody can dress up like Batman. Like I could do that. I can go to the store and get a Batman costume right now. Like I don't know. I don't think I would do what the main characters did and look like myself in real life, where it's not that far off. I'd probably I don't know, something cooler than Batman, where you got gadgets like Iron Man or something would be cool, where you can fly around and have that extra mechanical strength and stuff. But at the same time, you know what? I think I'd go with John Wick.
Oh, nothing like you just described.
Because I thought I was like, I'd rather be able to not be in a, not that you can feel the suit, but like logically in my head, I'm like, well, if you're in Iron Man suit, you can't drive an awesome car or like a motorcycle. You'd have to have some like oversized mechanical one. But I was like, oh, John Wick drives cars. He rides motorcycles. You
want to know gun fu?
Yeah.
I know gun fu.
I don't know. Running around as one of the Ninja Turtles would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like the non-main characters had these awesome costumes or characters of being anything and anyone, and then you got these guys that are just being humanoid people. Not even.
H was pretty cool. Had a cool little setup where he, like, when he was jumping in the beginning and his torso like expanded to dodge the bullets that were coming at him before he shot Freddy. Yeah,
like. Well, H was a hacker and was coding things into the game, right?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Did they get into that? I don't remember.
Yeah, I thought because H was repairing the Iron Giant, right?
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
And I think when they were touring the facility, H was saying that they, like coded their own stuff or something. I can't remember, but I thought they said something about, H being like hacker-esque.
Maybe. Oh, they did they did hack his feed in the movie. Remember the Nolan Sorrento? That's the bad guy's name. Bad guy.
Yeah. You're the one with the memory on that.
Yeah. They did hack his feed when he came out of the Oasis to make him think he was out of the Oasis. If you remember, they're like in his office with the guns.
Yeah.
And made everybody be like, "Oh my god, how'd they get into his office?"
Their inception moment of a guy in a suit tricking him to think he's a. Yeah, there's some things that I had questions about for that scene when I watched it the first time. Was one, why would you put your password on a sticker, especially when your password's Bossman69? Like,
well, I mean,
you couldn't remember that, like.
He's not. And then real tech
the other thing
savvy,
is when he gets in the seat, it scans his face. So what do you need a password for if it's doing biometrics?
Oh yeah. I just questioned the security before I realized that it was all a ruse. But then later, when Artemis escapes her pod, and she goes in the office, and she's just like, "Oh, here I am, no security." Just walks right in, hides behind his little chair. It's like, oh, so there's no
what's this lever do? Oh, I'm free. Cool.
$1 billion company, no security to his office. That's fine.
Yeah. We got people in the walking
You got
the top of the thing,
yeah,
watching people, but
you got drones flying to different cities and blowing shit up, and no
yeah.
no security in
How
the
about
office.
the living situation of just stacking trailers like a failed Tetris game? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, in the book actually depicts everything way more like apocalyptic than the movie does, and the reason they do that is because there isn't as many areas that are livable.
gotcha.
So
Does the
they,
book go into like why it's a dystopia? Is it go into
uh,
like a natural disaster or anything, or is it just
um, I don't remember exactly what it was. I know there's like, basically we ruin the earth and people are hungry. Like Wade's character
it's
is like,
based in reality?
yeah. I mean, in the book, Wade's character, his parents passed away, and he lives with his aunt, but he also lives with like 11 other people in the trailer. It's not just her and her boyfriend. Um, but he's poor. He is like that's why he never leaves. That's why he can never travel anywhere. Like because he doesn't have the money to travel. Because in the Oasis in the book, you have to pay to travel from planet to planet.
Right.
You can't just be like, oh, going to the race, you know. But I don't remember exactly why. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, it's way more. There's way less areas to live in, which is why everything's stacked up like the way it is in the book. And in the book, they don't live in Ohio. It's Iowa.
They just had to change the name that little bit to like
I mean, well, in the book, maybe I think they changed it to Ohio because that's where Halliday's from in the book.
okay, to make it
So
like the
maybe
hometown heroes type of deal.
I guess, but like maybe they just wanted everything close proximity because like in the if he was also in Ohio, where I'm assuming Gregarious Games is operated out of. Like, remember at the end when like Ogden Morrow, Simon Pegg, just like is suddenly there? Like, where did you come from? That was quick. Like, how'd you get here so fast? Like, it must be because they're in the same city. I'm assuming. Yeah, it's way worse off in the book than it is in the movie. Way worse. He does mention in the movie like the what is it the corn syrup crisis or something like that in the beginning when he's talking about like different things that happened. And there was like riots and uproars and stuff. That's where his parents. I think in the movie they said his parents were killed during that or something.
Yeah, that's corn syrup. Gotta love it.
It's a delicacy.
Yeah, you gotta have your soda, gotta have your pop. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it just made me think of Talladega Nights. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. Gets
Yeah.
people acting all crazy, all crazy. Yeah, way worse off in the book. The stacks or something. They're called the stacks. I don't know if they say that in the movie.
Yeah, I think they do.
I think they do.
That sounds familiar to me, and I didn't read the book. I think that's how he introduces it. Is they're panning in, showing everybody doing their thing. Some people on treadmills running, some people sitting there standing still. Some of the reviews were saying how they didn't understand that part. I was like, having a VR system, I understand that part because I can't afford the Omni treadmill thing with the magnetic shoes. They stopped selling it to the public, and now it's only for people that run arcades. But those things are a couple grand to buy.
Yeah.
Add that plus the headset plus all that other stuff. Like, it's surprising enough that everybody in the Oasis has the money for VR. Like, how much is a VR set? Or are they selling it like we sell phones where you pay like $20 a month and get a subscription? Like,
well,
you mentioned the school was free and through the Oasis. Like, if they have no money, then how are they affording these high tech headsets and stuff? Like,
the people who have money a little bit in the book, they can travel to different planets, earn XP and gold, and they can actually use that in the real world, like in the movie where he gets like 100,000 coins from getting the first key, and he buys that suit that comes in the mail. It says like real world pickup. Like in the book, they talk about that.
Yeah.
They can like people like high level, high experience players can order, use their money from the game in the real world. So there's that. Like in the book, he gets a lot of money from like endorsements after getting the first key, and he manages to like move out, get his own place, get like all this nice equipment from it. doesn't leave his house for like 6 months or something, like because he's yeah.
Everything's a little more sped up in the movie when you got
I think
2.5 hours to kill.
At one point in the book, it's like a whole year between keys or something like that. Well, I don't know.
This is kind of like getting the ball rolling, and then it just keeps picking up speed and quicker to find each one. Yeah, how many pages are in the book? Do you know?
No. It's not like super big.
Screenplay could be like 40 pages with triple spaced for.
Yeah, right.
Exterior, large building. Yeah. Exterior, the Shining Mansion.
Yeah. I don't know how many pages a script is, but it's far less than the book. It's 374 pages, the book.
Yeah, so they would need like 5 movies to get everything from the book in it to have it.
At least a series would have been cool, like a season, like 2 seasons, 3 seasons, something like that.
See, I'm against you. I'd rather sit down for a 3-hour movie than sit there for 10 episodes of a show.
I don't know. I would like to see the book on the screen. So whatever.
I say that, but I'm also looking forward to the Chucky series coming out. Like, one thing I meant to do and forgot to do was give you 6 degrees at the top of the podcast to solve before the end.
Oh, 6 degrees. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a randomizer and add a bunch of names to it and just make it a random thing at the top of every podcast that we do. I think it's going to be.
If you want to throw one out now, I got some time.
I won't be able to think of it.
Okay, that's fair enough. We'll do that next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah, when we worked at PacSun, we would start the shift, and I'd give you 2 people, and then like 2 hours later, we'd meet back up, and you'd be like, all right, this person's in this movie, and then this director, and this. So yeah, I think it's gonna be fun to play that game again.
Yeah, we used to do it through text a little bit. It's been a while since we've really got into it. Where I spoiled a movie for you.
We both liked movies for a very long time. The other thing 100%. Was we would try to list as many things of a topic before we ran out. I think that's going to be a whole separate episode we're going to do coming up. That was fun when we did that, and
yeah,
there's always a good story behind that. So yeah, we'll have an episode on that one.
I'm crying. But anyway,
back on topic.
Back on topic.
Did you expect this podcast to stay on topic? Boy, were you wrong.
For anybody who happens to watch or listen to this it's going to happen all the time.
Yeah,
we'll just start randomly veering off on something else. So be prepared. So anyway,
so what's your favorite part of Ready Player One?
The movie? I think The Shining.
Because they're very different. So what's your favorite part of the book? Let's start with that.
Well, I haven't read the book in a while. I'm rereading it now. It's just a good read. I actually have the book signed by Ernest Cline.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have that. I like the references. The book is so many. Like, you think the movie has a lot, the book has tons of references to different things. But I can't say for sure what I like right now. But I do like the Shining scene. I think that was the best scene in the movie. It
was definitely like the most fluent and detailed, like the longest running single idea of like just in deep in the well of pop culture, and that one just sticking true to the movie, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's just like you have this like fun, colorful, like sci-fi adventure film, and then suddenly it's just like boom. It's just like it's just terrifying. I don't know.
Yep.
And that whole Kim,
the
character with him throughout the whole thing is just
he's like, I've never seen The Shining. Relief.
Is it scary?
Just pulling you far enough out to remember it's not a horror movie. Like
yeah. But they did a good job with the horror elements of it. But then they get to the dancing zombie thing, and then they get back to like the campy kind of goofy sci-fi, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But
I mean, most of what they're referencing is the 80s, which is the pinnacle of campy movies. So
yeah, I mean,
if you're going to reference the movies, might as well make it campy like the originals.
I mean, technically, The Shining is the 80s, so can't really. I mean, they still stuck to the theme.
My favorite part was the research. when he's in the library. No.
I was good. What?
Although the robot guy was a real jerk, I felt like I was like, AI should be nicer to people. I feel like is this what, right before the AI gets fed up with humanity and just kills us all? Is that why he's being such a jerk? Like,
Yeah, I want to know why Simon Pegg did the motion capture and everything for the for the character in the museum. What's it called? The
he's
the
the curator. That's
archives.
all I
The
remember.
curator.
Yeah, the
Thank you, the
archives.
curator. But why did it look and sound like Michael Caine? Like if you look back,
They couldn't afford him.
Oh, he does anything. What are you talking about?
Michael Caine?
I don't know. Maybe not anything. I feel like they could have. Steven Spielberg could have got Michael Caine.
Yeah. Maybe he was at the end of his rope of favors.
So, what was your favorite part? You actually didn't even answer me or answer that question. You're making jokes.
Yeah, well, stalling for time as I try to think.
Oh. All right. Well, you can keep stalling, right? I have
the racing scene was cool, but it was really just, oh, look at that cool car, look at this, look at that, and remembering things. The scene where he's like tied up in the van as they're driving doing the VR, I thought that was like, could you just sit in the seat with a seatbelt and do it like the people that are laying in their bed doing it and stuff like that? Like use the joysticks. Like that seemed a little excessive, but cool idea. But swinging around, turning, and he's slamming into the walls and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I feel like excessive, over the top.
Yeah,
but I don't know. The big battle, you see a lot of the characters.
Yeah, I thought the battle was cool.
That was cool. That was probably the best part.
Just TJ Miller.
Epic battles are always good.
Yeah, TJ Miller as the henchman was pretty good.
Yeah, I guess this was pre scandal that he got that job.
Yeah, I think that went away quickly though. I'm pretty sure because his wife was just like, "Yeah, you're wrong." So I think that went away pretty quickly.
I don't think it ever really, because he was struggling to come back and stand up just a couple years ago.
He's doing okay now. I think he still does shows. He's doing plenty of shows. I don't know. Yeah, but it definitely was. That was like a year and a half ago, I think. But this was what, 3 years ago? 2018. This movie.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
In the book, not the same character. Not the same kind of character. It wasn't a henchman for the Sixers or IOI. He was just like a high level player who they didn't like. Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't like anyone evil. It was literally, just someone else in the game.
He was just being a jerk. He was just like a jerk. Attention seeking, thinks he's better than everybody, likes to brag, but doesn't know anything. Jerk.
So it was me.
What else?
No, all in all, I really liked the movie. Eventually, I'll probably read the book too. There's not too many things where I'll go back and read the book, but I think this one will definitely to see all, or read all the other pop culture references in the book and all that. It'll be good to go back to.
Yeah, I'm sure if you Google like Ready Player One pop culture references, it'll be quite the list.
Yeah,
from
for the book.
Almost 400-page book. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if the YouTube video said 308 for the movie, I can't imagine what the book's got. Like,
what else? I'm trying to think like what else. There's so many things about the book. Oh, Daito, the one of the kids, one of the samurai ninja kids, the tiny one in the movie. Yeah, he dies.
Spoiler.
Well, we're talking it, but so that was another difference.
So with the second book coming out, are they planned to do a second movie? I didn't even look that up.
I have no idea. I mean, I would imagine. I don't know how it's out. I don't know how well it did, or if it was like received very well.
One of the book wasn't received well. You mean?
I don't know if it was or not. That's what I'm saying. 3.5 out of 5 star rating for the book. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to. It's out. It's on paper. It's on hardback. It's just not paperback yet.
Yeah. So the book came out, but I'm not seeing anything where it's saying they bought the rights to a second movie. So,
I mean, I would imagine they would like to.
December 2020, Ready Player 2 movie is in early stages from Inverse.com. So I guess they're going to make one. Just it's not planned as well as the first one was with the book release, I guess. Well, with the book release 8 years later, but I mean, they didn't get the pre-production done a year before the book came out. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely
Yep.
have to check out the books though.
I'm gonna read it once I'm done the first book. I'll go back and start I'm gonna go start the second one for the first time. I'm excited to read it. He's a good writer. I've read a lot of his. I read it. Well, I forget the name of the other book. Armada, I think.
Does he specialize in this type of action adventure, sci-fi?
Oh yeah. His other book, Armada, it's a science fiction. It's a teenager who plays an online video game about defending against an alien invasion, only to find out that the game is a simulator to prepare him and people around the world for defending against an actual alien invasion.
This sounds quite familiar.
Yeah, what is that?
How many movies have games where they're like, or where it's like, here, kids, play this game, and they're actually controlling actual drones, bombing stuff, and aren't playing a game? And I feel like there's been a bunch of movies like that.
Yep. Wait, they're actually. Wait, what is that? There is a movie where that's the thing. It's like kids playing the game, and they don't realize they're actually.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but that's.
Oh my god!
Another 80s, 90s movie.
That's a movie.
Yeah. All they did was change one thing instead of bombing Korea or
Last
whatever.
Starfighter.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Instead of bombing another country, we're preparing for the aliens.
I feel like there's one more recent, but they didn't know that they were doing it. You know.
I miss all those hacking movies of the 90s. Hackers, and I can't remember the other one with Rachel Lee Cook in it.
What's she doing? What's she been up to?
Love Guaranteed she was in, but that's not what I'm thinking of. That's another one with one of the Wayans brothers, where he's on a dating site and goes on like 980 dates and doesn't find love. Damon Wayans Jr. And so he wants to sue the company that their guarantee is that you'll find love.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I watched that one.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. I meant to, but
yeah, I'm not sure. I think I know what you're talking about.
Let's see.
Well, I do hope they make a sequel. I mean, as much as I prefer the book, the movie was still a good movie for Ready Player One. Michael Caine, curator and all.
Yeah, with people, nitpicking on things on the movie, I found it enjoyable. I liked the idea of it. I mean, there's more and more things coming out where you're in a VR simulator in a movie and doing stuff, but I feel like this was good. It relied heavily on pop culture references, but they were good references. It was really well done.
Lots of cool things. It's just like one of those popcorn movies. Sit back, you enjoy it, and it is what it is.
Yeah, what do you think the rewatchability is on this? How many times do you think you could watch it before you get sick of it? Is it something where you could watch it every couple weeks?
Couple weeks, no. But I mean, that's not to say anything bad against the movie. I don't think I could. I can't rewatch anything every couple weeks, anything at all. I like to watch new things. That's all.
Let's rate it this way: if it's on TV and you're scrolling through, do you stop to watch it, or do you say, "I've seen it enough"?
I've only watched it like a couple times. I'd probably watch it.
Yeah.
I think it's got definitely. It's got a few more. Like this time was not. I think because this time I know everything that's happening. So I'm just the first time it was just like, what's the word? It was like it's like a gimmick. It's just like, wow, look at all these cool things that are happening. Like
trying to play catch up with your mind the whole time. Like, oh, that was cool. Yeah. Oh wait, what's going on now? Like
you don't have time to think about much else. You're just too enthralled in like what's going on with all the characters and all the different things. But
for being 2.5 hours long, it really keeps a good pace where it's pretty good pace. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head where it was like, oh, this is kind of dragging. This is
I mean, but it's Spielberg. He's good at that kind of stuff for the most part. I mean, he knows what he's doing. I like how in Ready Player One, when the Iron Giant falls into the lava, it holds up the thumb like in Terminator 2.
See, that's not something I caught. That's something that in the recaps that I was watching today I caught. I was like, that's so cool. Like
I caught that when I watched it. I was just like,
they even showed like the clip from T2 where the glove's like this, and then just as it's right here, he's like,
yep,
up to the kid. I was like that. And then showing the Iron Giant doing it side by side as he's holding onto the cliff and as he lets go. Like I was like, that's so cool. Like things that I wish I noticed when I first saw it, because it's just like that's some attention to detail and really. Really cool. Like that's what I mean. Like all the pop culture references in this was done, with love. It wasn't just like, let's give them fan service and throw this in there. Like there's people that actually cared about these properties. Like, oh, it'd be so cool if we made this do that, and it would really mean a lot to these people. Like,
I wonder if James Cameron got mad that they did that.
I don't know.
You put that in, but not one of
Eccentric
my
billionaires
Avatar people.
will do what they do. He'll go in a submarine and forget about it. He'll just bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all in all, I think we're both in agreement with the movie being very good. What part of the book were you most disappointed to not have in the movie? Was there anything that stands out where you're like, I really wish they did this one plot line or one epic challenge type of thing? Because 2 of the challenges were swapped out for something different, right? So did either one stand out to you where you wish they showed him, finding the first clue rather than in the movie where it's some other guy that did it 5 years earlier type of deal?
I wish they did the. I understand why they didn't do the missions the way they did for the movie, because if you're making a movie, you want it to be fast paced, like entertaining, and like when you're reading a book, it's different than when you're watching the movie, obviously. Yeah. So like when you're reading the book and you're reading about Parzival like going into the dungeon and fighting the Lich King and stuff, like that's cool when you're reading it, but it wouldn't translate the same on screen. It'd be like, oh, this is it. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they could do either like an 80s montage of quick screen swipes and then they're there, or they could do it the way they did it, which is here's a plot line, let's drop it in the action, and it's already 2.5 hours long, so let's not add another 20 minutes of backstory.
They got to keep the pace up, and they got to make sure it's understood. Yeah, because there would be way too much backstory on like him finding out it's on planet Ludus and doing all the stuff for like why it's this tomb of horror, Dungeons and Dragons like thing. It's way too much, and it just wouldn't be as entertaining.
Like, so they got rid of the Dungeons and Dragons quest for the first key, but they did have like a 21 die, I forget what you call those, from Dungeons and Dragons, and there's different Dungeons and Dragons references throughout the movie.
References. But I think the planet or the area where Planet Doom is from Dungeons and Dragons, if I'm not mistaken. That's where the planet at the end is, where they play adventure. That's the only thing from the 3 challenges I think that really stuck was that adventure game, but in the book it's still done differently. But at least they kept adventure in, because I mean that's all about Easter egg.
At least the writer for the book was a part of the screenplay process and had input on it. I feel like I'd feel differently if it was like they took his property and just completely changed it. Like, hey, we're just going to use the name type of thing. Like, I feel like he was probably happy with it. I didn't see any articles saying, raving reviews from original writers saying this isn't what I wrote type of thing.
I mean, he's listed as like the main writer, so I mean, like along with Zach Penn. So I mean, I guess he's fine with it. I mean, it still holds true to the whole idea behind the book. They just had to adapt it a bit for movie world. But
all right, so it's 2 thumbs up from both of us. It's a good one.
Yeah, I like it.
I feel like we're gonna have to have some episodes where it's like I'm talking about how awesome something is. You're like, this movie was crap.
It'll happen.
What a dog pile! Like,
no, it'll happen. You're a little bit more receptive to movies than I am.
Yeah.
Remember, like an hour ago,
this has been our
talking about Ready Player One.
Let's just veer back onto the path now.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I think this is a good episode. We got to figure out our format, but the format the format 1 a.m.
Figure out that format.
Yeah, I think this was a good first episode, though.
Yeah. We can probably
figure
out
a format to keep it more on track as far as how everything comes out. But this was good. I liked it.
Yeah, we have to sign off though.
So you've listened to the first episode of Ready Viewer 1. Thanks for coming along with us on this wild ride of tangents and deep dives. Yeah, we appreciate you listening and watching, and come back for our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.